Alright. Some of you would say video games rot the brain. This one I'm going to be talking about is a game called Assassin's Creed. More generally, it's going to be the third game, the book called Forsaken, and Assassin's Creed 4. This is centered around the Kenway family. The Kenways started off with the grandfather, Edward Kenway. He was a pirate. Then it goes to Hathan Kenway. He was, well, you're going to find out. And then there's Connor, the grandson. The historical moments in this game that we'll cover is everything from the Pirate Age to the end of the American Revolution. So you get to see pirates like Blackbeard, Mary Read, and Captain Hornigold. You get to find out the key. You also see with Hathan the 7 Years' War, and with Connor you get to live through the American Revolution and see key historical moments like the Boston Tea Party, the Battle of Breed's Hill or Bunker Hill, and then you get to see the ending of it towards the Battle of Monmouth, and you get to say it at Valley Forge. So here's the main story, the premise of the game. It's a couple of groups fighting each other since the Second Crusade. One a group called the Knights Templar. They surround themselves around order, while the assassins, they are more about freedom. And that is the main premise. They are butting heads over who gets to rule the world. Is it going to be a set of people who are going to rule with an iron fist, or is everyone going to have their own ideals and freedom? Some of the historical moments in the game, like I've mentioned, you are with Edward. I'm not going to give any spoilers to the people who are playing the fourth game right now, but you do live during the Pirate Age. You do get to see Havana and Kingston, and you get to go around on a ship and be a merry pirate. Then, some of his traits is he kind of disagreed with the ideas of the assassins, whose motto was, nothing is true, everything is permitted. Then he finds out he would rather work with them rather than the Templar, and that's as far as I'll go. The next one is Hathan, Edward's son. He grows up, his dad was trying to train him to be an expert swordsman, but yet his father died when he was a young child. So he turns to the Knights Templar. Sorry, spoiler. He essentially joins the bad guys, or quote bad guys in the game franchise, and then he goes to America to try to create the Templar Order there, and to find the Pieces of Eden. Well, when he was on his hunt, he met a local girl, got her pregnant, left, did not know he had a son. His son was named Connor. Connor is a young, half Native American, half English American. He was brought up in the Assassins when he started seeing his people started being, killed by the expansion of the British, then later Americans. He was fighting for the freedom of his peoples. Then he saw the American Revolution as these guys are trying to create freedom for themselves and not have any rule from the Templars. The Templars were trying to oversee some of it. Some of the key historical moments you'll see in the third game with Connor is you are part of the Boston Tea Party. You do go on the ships and throw the tea overboard. Then you go into the Battle of Breed's Hill, not Bunker. You get to meet famous people from the battles, like General George Washington, and you get to meet all the other guys who were part of it, like Benjamin Franklin and John Hancock. And it was pretty interesting because you never really got to see. You grow up in school hearing about these guys. You go, oh, that must have been cool to see what life would have been like back then. In this game, it immerses you into the time period. You actually can walk down the Broadway in New York City and see half the East Side burnt down from the fire. You get to see the big epidemic of smallpox going around. It's more than just going, oh, this is just purely historical and purely violence. It's kind of a game that kind of teaches you as you go what is right and what is wrong. And the game, I would believe you should check it out because it does kind of teaches you about history from the sense this is what we came from, and then this is what can happen, like what has happened. In the game, like most games, you just go around mindlessly killing things and not learning anything except how to drive away from cops. In this game, you kind of learn, oh, what is the meaning of freedom? it comes at a price. Like, at the end of 3, you find out, after all the trouble Connor went through helping the Americans, he loses his land. The American government decided to not levy taxes on the American people for the burden of the war. They decided to start selling off the land, and then for his tribe had to move farther inland. In the game, you will see, there's the family, there's key traits of each of them. Edward was more always the questioning guy, like, why am I following this? I want my money. I would like to get my money. And then he later learns, oh wait, it's more than about my personal gain, it's about the gain of others. Hathan was kind of the guy who was the led astray, and he was a Templar, and he thought, well, I can create order and control everything, and I want to be able to be the person who cares for everyone, but with order. Then Connor is more, everyone deserves their freedom, and we don't need you or anyone else telling us how to live. We want our deserved freedoms. In conclusion, this game is not just about mindless violence. This game actually teaches you, shows you, and if you ever daydreamed in class going, I wonder what it'd be like to sit in Valley Forge and freeze to death almost. Well, in this game, you can. You can actually go up to Valley Forge, talk to Washington, and sit in the snowbank with the rest of the troops. That is my presentation.